All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Erin Blanchfield defeats Jessica Andrade via rear naked choke in the second round, and thank God she did. You are listening to Ronan MMA, but also I am the newly found CEO and president and all of the titles of the Erin Blanchfield fan club. I am so happy that she did this, that she had this performance. I picked Jessica Andrade to win, and I don't think I've ever been more happy to get a pick wrong. I didn't think that it would go like this even a little bit. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the other fights on the card. I won't go over every single fight because, geez, man, that wasn't the best fight card. I had a really hard time. I didn't feel the fight night buzz that I usually feel. And I'm glad that it was earlier on in the day, because I think that if those fights were on at regular time, I may have fallen asleep. But before we get into that, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to thank you in advance. Thank you very much for your subscription. So let's get into it, dude. That was incredible. That's dude. That is. I don't want that performance to go unrecognized. Like, I am so glad that she did that, because I did not want to see Jessica Andrade fight Valentina Shevchenko again for the title. I don't think that Jessica Andrade made enough improvements since her last fight, or since her fight against Valentina Shevchenko, to think that that fight would go any differently. I think that, sure, she had a great performance against Lauren Murphy, but I mean, dude, it's Lauren Murphy. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but she really looks like, your local trailer park meth head. And I didn't think that was one where it was like, Jessica Andrade, that is absolutely not losing this fight. Whereas this one, I picked Jessica Andrade to win because she punches like a dude. And I did not expect Erin Blanchfield to have the physicality to be able to deal with someone like Jessica Andrade, the little woman who looks like Mr. Steelio girl. She looks like a straight up fuckboy, and that's like objective. She looks like a mix between Pauly D and like Ryan Reynolds, and then made into legally a midget. And so I just thought that, man, and it looked like that was gonna be how it went, because in the first round, she was unable to get Jessica Andrade to the ground. And there was a moment in the first round, I believe there was roughly about a minute and a half left, where Andrade cracked her with a good shot, clean. And you could see Erin Blanchfield's eyes go like, as she turned and looked, and she looked terrified for a split second, but it didn't matter. What a gangster, dude. She kept going. Not many girls, once they get hit by that, do they want to keep fighting. And I think that that's where Jessica Andrade gets her edge most of the time, is that, I mean, you could get your ass beat by Caitlin Chookagian, and walk away looking like you just got out of bed or some shit, because she just doesn't punch very hard at all. She just screams while she punches, and that's fucking weird when you don't have any power, but okay. She kios after it, you know what I mean? But with Jessica Andrade, I mean, Caitlin Chookagian beats up most of the girls. And with all due respect to Caitlin Chookagian, but she's not that good. And she doesn't hit hard, right? And then you see what Jessica Andrade does to her. Because Jessica Andrade, like I said, she hits like a guy. And I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that. It's, there's certain girls that they hit like a guy. We may have seen Karolina Kowalkiewicz, kind of fall off towards the end of her career, but we never saw somebody else send her fucking flying 5 feet back, like we were in like the way Jamal Hill sent Johnny Walker flying. And it did look like that was going to be the case, man. The first round was close, and to Erin Blanchfield's credit, she is a way better striker than I thought she was. I did not give her enough credit, man. I think it's hard to give people the credit that they deserve when they're running through people the way that Erin Blanchfield has been running through people, and I kind of This reminds me of the Jamal Hill situation a little bit, because I underestimated Jamal Hill a lot in the fight with Glover Teixeira, because I didn't realize what a clever striker he was, because he was kind of just running through people. And then you see him get to a guy that he can't KO, which that's no knock on him. Glover's just got one of the best chins in the game. But then you see, well, when he can't knock somebody out with just one punch, he has to fight intelligently and set things up. And then you realize, oh, wow, this guy's actually a very, he's sophisticated in his own right. And while it may not look like it, because he just hits people with a normal punch and they go flying, and also his body type is not the most desirable, you just kind of take them for granted. And I think I kind of took Erin Blanchfield for granted, man, because I didn't really hold Molly McCann in a high regard. So when she went, Molly McCann's a fun fighter and all, but skill-wise, So when she went out there and did that to Molly McCann, I was like, yeah, that was kind of how that fight was supposed to go. But I would have never expected her to do that to Jessica Andrade, man. She deserves all the praise in the world. And I am so glad that I got this pick wrong, because, man, it was weird, because a lot of the YouTubers, the MMA YouTubers that were picking this fight, I didn't see any pick Blanchfield. Now, maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but once I make my picks, I go and I watch other people's picks videos. And perhaps I just didn't look hard enough, like I said, but when they showed the betting line at the beginning of the fight, during the tail of the tape, I went, what? Really? There's that many people that are on this hype train? And, by the way, this is last call for that train. So don't be a hater, bro. This was last call. She's saying, you want on this train, hop on. Okay. I do, but I'll get on the one that you're talking about anyways. I mean, after this point, if you're not sold on Erin Blanchfield, then I don't know what you're watching. Dude, that was so quick. In the second round, as soon as she got her to the ground, that was it, and she did it faster than Valentina Shevchenko did. Now, in fairness, it took Valentina 7 takedowns that she actually got before Andrade was unable to get up. I think it was about 7. Blanchfield needed 1, right? Because she couldn't get her down in the first round. Dude, her striking is so much better than I thought. I am my mind's all over the place with this, because I'm actually in disbelief. I was falling asleep, right? After the Jim Miller-Alex Hernandez fight, that was a great fight. In between that fight and the main event, I was like, geez, man, this is fucking... Really, dude? This is not, it was just not the best card. There were some weird performances. William Knight decided that he was just going to act like he's too cool for school, or I don't know what the fuck that was. We'll talk about that in a bit, but... Dude. She needed 1 takedown, and she locked that choke in quick. And, man. The way that I saw it on the feet was... Erin Blanchfield was using a bit of a... I don't know what the correct word is, an untypical style of defense. And there's a male fighter that I'm thinking of that reminds me of this, and I can't think of who it is off the top of my head, and it's driving me crazy. But as opposed to the traditional, untraditional was probably a better word. Opposed to the traditional, hands up blocking that you would be doing, she kind of holds her hands out there, and because Jessica Andrade only throws hooks, every single one of those hooks were getting disrupted and thrown off course with Erin Blanchfield's arms being stuck out a bit. She holds her arms more farther away than up tight to her face. She does not have a tight guard. And against somebody like Jessica Andrade, who throws looping shots always, to the point where she's almost taking flight, it worked extremely well. Jessica Andrade hit her clean a couple times, but not very often. Whereas she was countering with straight shots and hitting Andrade right on the chin. And there was a few times where Andrade looked like she had gotten rocked, which is very new for her because, like I said, most girls don't hit like her. And I think she thinks that, or she knows that. So she's much more willing to throw herself into the fire because she figures, they're girls. They can't hit me the way that I can hit them, so I'll take their shots. But there was a few that Blanchfield landed that I was like, okay. She's got some counter abilities. And it's very, very, very interesting to think about her versus Valentina Shevchenko. And I know that there's some people out there who might be going like, what? Valentina will annihilate her. I don't think that to be the case. I don't know if I would make a full-on like Erin Blanchfield would beat Valentina prediction yet. I would want to go back and watch some of Valentina's most recent fights. I would want to go back and watch Erin Blanchfield's fights before this. But man, Tyler Santos was able to control Valentina on the ground for quite a while. And if that headbutt, accidental or not, didn't happen, I don't know that Valentina would have retained her title that night, because I think that the tides kind of turned. Like the momentum shifted after that cut happened. Dude. And just the way that she dealt with, like, that's what's so impressive. And I know that MMA math or algebra or calculus, all of it doesn't really work. But you look at how quickly they were able to finish Jessica Andrade, and Erin Blanchfield did it much faster. Even if the times were different, the fact that Valentina landed 7 takedowns before she was able to actually establish control and go for the finish, whereas Erin Blanchfield needed just 1. It really looked like, to me, it was going to be right. I thought that, that I was going to be right, pardon me. I thought that in the second round, the takedowns were going to be even harder for Blanchfield, and that Andrade was just going to keep cracking her, and that eventually we would see Andrade either finish her or it would be another like bully beatdown. But man, even the counter striking of Blanchfield, and dude, get you a girl who can do both. God damn, dude, she is fine as fuck. Look at the pictures in my thumbnail, dude. So she's marketable. Not only that, she has brought in life back to the flyweight division. I did not want to see any of these girls fight Valentina Shevchenko. And I'm not going to say that I'm counting Alexa Grass out 100%, but I don't see her getting this shit done because she doesn't have the same kind of power. Or she doesn't have the power, rather, that you would think is needed to deal with somebody like Valentina Shevchenko, especially because Alexa Grasso's main thing is her boxing, right? So she's going to want to stand and trade with Valentina Shevchenko. She doesn't have enough power, enough pop on her shots to put her away with one shot, right? So if Valentina even feels for a moment like she's getting pieced up on the feet, she's just going to take you down. So I feel kind of bad writing Alexa Grasso off already, but I just want to see this fight, man. I want to see Erin Blanchfield fight Valentina Shevchenko. I can't believe it, dude. She's 23 years old. The amount of composure she has to go in there against Jessica Andrade, that would be extremely intimidating for a lot of women fighters, dude. Jessica Andrade is a savage. Everybody knows it. And she's fought at all 3 weight classes. So you know that she can deal with the power of girls at 35. She can deal with the speed of girls at 115. She's found her happy home, she says, right? And then Erin Blanchfield goes fucking, nah. And just takes it from her. Fuck, man. It was very exciting. I'm high on Erin Blanchfield, dude. And I think it helps that she's very pretty. Like, she is very, very pretty. I know that no girl looks really pretty when they're in the cage, because they've got no makeup on. They've got like Vaseline on their face. Their hair's all pulled back tight. And I don't know if it's just me, but I don't really like when girls have their hairs in buns. I like when they have their hair down, nice and feminine and pretty. When she does, holy shit, dude. Also, Valentina's 30 fucking 4 or 35 or something like that. Like, she ain't young. And she's been around for a long time. She's made a lot of money. I don't know how hungry she'll be. This chick wants it bad, dude. fuck, was fantastic. I'm stoked on this. And it takes a lot to get me to be super excited rather, on any, like, something to do with women's MMA. And I'm not trying to be like a sexist, fucking misogynist, whatever you want to call it. It's the level of women's MMA is just not that of the men's. You don't see men with 10-7 records fighting in the UFC, but you do with women. You know, and I mean, even Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes, like, which was somewhat of an exciting fight. You see Juliana Pena's throwing punches like it looks like she's swimming through air or something. Like, it's fucking horrible. And that was the champ at one. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be an asshole, man, but it's just not fun to watch for me personally. Like, obviously, there's the Whaleys and Young Jacek type fights. There's the Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade 1 and 2 type fights. There's when Rose can actually perform and she's not just mentally fucking destroyed. She's fun to watch. Like, there's outliers for sure in each division. But, man, flyweight was very stagnant. And now, all of a sudden, one night, 6-7 minutes, new life, dude. And it's awesome. I like seeing it. So, other performances on the card. Quite possibly the best performance of the night is William Knight. Try and say that with a straight face, because I just did. That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing, what he was thinking. His coaches all but fucking begged. I mean, in between that second and third round, when you hear his coach yelling at him, you haven't fought a fucking minute of this fight. And he's like, I got you, man. Bro, what a bitch move that way. He was acting like a little bitch. That speech from his coach should have and was absolutely intended to fire him the fuck up. And he thought, no. And you know what, dude? Dean Thomas actually said it perfectly. I was getting really frustrated with the commentators in the Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez fight. And I know that Dean Thomas isn't like one of the main commentators. They just go to him sometimes. When I was watching William Knight fight, I was trying to look for a word to describe it. And Dean Thomas comes out and says he's lazy. And I thought that is the perfect word. I didn't think it would be so, like, I was looking for a more complex word to describe it. Because when you think of a professional fighter, especially one who's in almost bodybuilder shape like William Knight, the last thing you would think of is lazy. But when Dean Thomas said that, a light bulb went off. I went, yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's lazy. Fuck. His hands are just here at his chest. You can't even see them because they're so low. He's not bouncing on the balls of his feet. And I get you don't have to do that. Like, Israel Adesanya is one of the best strikers we've ever seen. He's flat-footed. He's a more slide and glide kind of guy. Not a bouncing on the balls of his foot. But William Knight's no Israel Adesanya. And he was just fucking doing nothing. And even when he went forward, he was just kind of like taking one step after the other, one like just walking. And you could see when I hate, what the fuck was that? I hate when dudes do this, dude. But Buddy will throw a leg kick, a good leg kick. We can all hear it at home. What, blah. And then William Knight's like, man, just shucking him off. Or like, he's not shucking him off. He's playing it like he's shucking him off. And I want it to be like, buddy, you can't use your fucking leg. Don't act like those aren't doing shit. And also, don't act like he's being a bitch, because all you want to do is throw a right hand. So what if all he wants to do is leg kick you? Also, he didn't. I mean, William Knight, credit to him, has got a bit of a chin. Because a few of those question mark kicks landed pretty well. I think they just needed to be like an inch or two higher, because they were kind of landing here. But I picked Pacquiao to win. I thought he was going to have to go through some adversity. I thought that the first round was going to be tricky, and then he would pull ahead later on. because William Knight doesn't have a whole lot of cardio, as you would expect from somebody as muscled up as him. But William Knight just went, I don't want to do anything tonight. Like, straight up, dude, if James Krause was in that guy's corner, everybody would think he intentionally threw that fight. Like, without a doubt. You go in there, you don't, like, punch, kick, elbow, knee, takedown, did nothing. He did nothing. You don't address the kick. Check the fucking kick, bro. What are you doing? I get that the guy kicks fast. You got to make adjustments, my guy. And then when your corner is pleading with you, screaming in your face, don't I got me? Go fucking do it. Go do something, dude. Who cares if you get finished at that point? You look like you've got chromosomes to spare. And everybody's going to be shitting on you forever. Whereas at least if you went out there and you fucking tried to do something and you got KO'd, people would be like, well, at least he started fighting. Because he was essentially a heavy bag that night. It was weird to watch. And it was frustrating. Because I don't really blame Prochnow. Like, I wouldn't want to go in there against a dude like that muscled up with legs that are as big as my fucking torso and try and go for a finish when he hasn't really showed me that he's rocked. Like, Paul Felder was kind of getting on him. He go, oh, he could have pushed a little bit. I think he could have gotten the finish. Well, when? Because he was showing damage to his leg kicks, from the leg kicks early on. They continued to land, and that didn't really, like, he never lost his footing. He never fell. From it, like. So what that reminded me of is when you're like, dude, the last UFC game that I really enjoyed playing was UFC 2. Because those just aren't the type of games that I play. I don't like playing sports games. But when your character has had like 43 title defenses in a row and is like 99 at everything, and you're getting bored of doing like crazy tornado kick KOs and shit like that, so you start like challenging yourself and you go, I'm gonna go for a body TKO. I'm gonna go for a leg kick TKO. That was what that fight looked like. Like, it looked like you were fighting a dude that had like durability 100 and you were trying to get a leg kick TKO. That's literally what it looked like. It also looked like you had two controllers turned on as opposed to playing a CPU. And you just put the one controller aside and thought, nah, I'll just fuck this dude up. Because I don't want him to fight back. Like, what the fuck was that, man? And then the last performance I want to talk about. There were a few good performances. And I don't mean to, like, skip over them or anything. But, you know, the two guys at the beginning of the night had a great performances. AJ Fletcher and Carpenter, and then of course Jamal Emmers, or I hope I didn't just call a black dude Jamal because he's black. I hope that's actually his fucking name. Let me check. I really hope so, man. Okay, I was right. We weren't being racist. Jamal Emmers, showing that there's levels to this, right? And I'm kind of glad that happened to Askabov in his UFC debut, because now he's been humbled. He had the arrogance of someone who's never been through adversity, and now he realizes that he's in the UFC and it's step up. So we've got to, up our game a bit and not just come out and think that I'm going to finish everybody, no problem. But Jim Miller versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, I didn't agree with 30-27s. Honestly, I could have seen the fight go either way. Like, if they would have given it to Jim Miller, I would not have been angry by any means, because I think when I was watching it live, I gave Jim Miller round 1, and then round 3, to be honest, was a toss-up, because while that choke wasn't, like, perfectly locked in, it was the closest that one of them came to finishing the fight, so it's a little squirrely. I think Hernandez deserved the win, but 30-27 seemed odd to me. Doesn't matter. Incredible fight. Alex Hernandez showed that he cannot fight like a handicap and, conserve some energy and go all 3 rounds, which is cool. We haven't seen that before. And Jim Miller, is an absolute savage. I don't really like the idea of Alexander Hernandez going to 145. Like, he's a muscled up dude. You're gonna have to lean out a bit, like, because I feel like it'd be more like closer to a Dan Hooker situation. Like, we're more likely to see him get finished at featherweight. And now that he's finally seemed to put things together, the last thing I would want to see him do is, like, once he's gotten over the mental hurdles and shit like that, go and destroy his body and then just, take another negative turn in his career. Those are kind of my standouts of the night. I didn't want to go over everyone, as I said, but man, Erin Blanchfield. Like I said, man, last call. If you ain't on that train, hop on, because Jesus Christ, dude. Tell me who else does that to Jessica Andrade. And with all that being said, that's a wrap. I'm going to go. I woke up to like 2 feet of snow, so I'm going to go shovel my driveway, and all that jazz. So like and subscribe. I'm going to thank you in advance once again. Thank you very much, because I'm Canadian, so see you at the next video.